coming here. Presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. You know, Federated has been all about. You guys make fun of Kirk Cousins for being risk averse, but you know he really is. I would hire him at Federated because it's all about protecting businesses and shielding them against risk. He'd actually be a perfect Federated marketing representative if he's ever looking for a second career. Let's make it happen. Yeah, big smile, big headshot. You can find out more about the trusted resources and people that can help take your business to another level at federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. All right, let's keep the feedback coming here on Mackie and Judd. You can always hit us up on the SKOR North app. There's a feedback tab. That's the central hub for everything we do, all of our podcasts, all of our YouTube videos, and all of Judd's written work. You can also always hit us up on SKOR North YouTube channel, Purple Daily YouTube channel, SKOR North Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm pulling a lot of Timberwolves stuff here. They won their third game in a row last night, and they are now 2 games above 500 for the first time since the first week of the season. And they are knocking on the door of the 6 and the 5 seed in the Western Conference. So I'm pulling some of this from just reaction from the game last night. Kyle Teague from Canis Hoopus, who posted a video of the Wolves bench kind of clowning around at one point during the game. It was at this exact moment that I realized the Timberwolves simply cannot make any trades prior to next week's deadline. The chemistry right now is just too strong. J-Rock on Twitter also chimes in saying, we finally have a team that's young and hungry and bought in with everyone contributing. There's no attitude or egos that affect the play. It's just one big family out there playing games against other teams. It's fun and exciting to see the chemistry and watching them get better. It does feel different. It does feel different.
Get the flag. Get the flag. Get the flag.
Get the flag. 2 games above 500 in February.
Get me the LOB. Somebody get me a damn LOB.
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 Come to Target Center.
I saw Dubes was tweeting out some from his latest Scoop podcast that the Wolves are pushing hard for Marcus Smart, and it would potentially cost the Wolves something of maybe a Malik Beasley. Jaden McDaniels' name has been throwing in there. A protected first has been thrown around in there. I would entertain that trade. This is the fun part of where both the Wolves and the Wild have to figure out, because they're both turning a corner here. The Wild being obviously a little bit more ahead of a schedule than the Wolves are, but how can you also improve this roster without having to shake the core of it? Because Fletcher was notorious for always making a move. Let's bring in Sean Bergenheim just because we have to make a move. Matt Molson. And obviously, the Hansel trade derailed that entire team when they were off to an insane start in 2017. So this is the fun part that these executives and these teams now get to figure out if they want to make a move at the trade deadline.
Man, so first of all, do not trade Patrick Beverley. And I'll give you the
There we go.
Lay the flag one more time.
Thank you. We're talking big trades.
Yeah. Do not trade Patrick Beverley. I know that he's a little older and he's kind of banged up. Patrick Beverley's presence in street clothes on the team plane is worth the money. Mm-hmm. I legitimately think, you watch these guys play now, I think he's part of the gel that's bringing everyone together. I think he's part of the reason why Karl-Anthony Towns, and we'll get to a comment about Towns too, while Karl-Anthony Towns looks like he has a different demeanor the last 2 or 3 months on the court too. Mm-hmm. So Marcus Smart is fine. Good, solid, 30 minutes a night. You could start him, could come out. I could see him as a 6th man. I worry a little bit. He's not a great shooter. So I worry a little bit about just a decrease in the Wolves' offense has been unstoppable. But he does provide some good perimeter defense. I don't know. I'm Marcus Smart's fine. I'm not giving up Pat Bev. And I'd worry about even giving up Jaden McDaniels. I like Marcus Smart, but I kind of agree with these guys in the feedback section here. Is this something you want to mess with this year, or is this something that you want to ride this year? You're in playoff position right now. Can you make moves this offseason once you have more of a 30,000-foot view of everything? I don't know that I'd want to upset what's happening right now.
So how far do you think, Phil, that this team can go? Because that's the question. Because I don't think that you're going to upset the roster much if the realistic expectation internally is, we're a playoff team and we can make the playoffs, and we're probably going to lose in the first round. So how far do you think they can go?
So
that's the question.
Here's my answer. I don't care this year. This year is less about how far you can go, and it's about just get there. Just and maybe people can light me up for this, but I think the off season. So the goal this year should be just get to the playoffs, establish that you are a winning playoff team. Well, I was going to say for the first time in 18 years, but Tom Thibodeau won blip season. But establish that this core is a winning playoff team first. Anything beyond that is gravy. I'd like to see them fight in a series. I don't want to see them just get swept. Then in the offseason, I think you have to evaluate, okay, what's our new goal? So we've made it here. Now how can we climb up to like one of those top 3 or 4 spots in the West and keep the assembly line moving here? And then you might have to make an uncomfortable decision. Then does it require trading a Jaden McDaniels or first-round picks for an actual like starting caliber player or a game changer? I think the way they're going right now and the fact that the schedule loosens up, they're just on such a great path. Can they win a championship this year? No. Will that eventually be something that they should talk about in the future? Yes. I would be careful, man. And the Ben Simmons stuff, too, I know that we were all in on the Ben Simmons talk 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. It's weird that he has chosen to just not play.
The whole thing's weird.
There's always been questions about his desire to improve his game and how much does he have any dog in him, right? And
yeah.
And I was willing to kind of put that stuff aside and say maybe he just needs to change his scenery. He's a wildly talented player. Even if he doesn't come around as a shooter, he's such a great defender and passer and open court player. But I just I've done a full 180 on this. Like, I'm not trading D'Lo for him right now. I was wrong 6 months ago. I was wrong. D'Lo has been a wonderful leader and just facilitator of this whole thing. And so I guess my long-winded point longer is I would be really careful. What can you accomplish at this year's trade deadline that's going to really put you onto another level
that's my question.
That you can't accomplish in the offseason?
Right.
I would wait till the offseason and make a big move.
Okay.
That's my thought. Let's see here. Feedback Friday. Jack Borman from Canis Hoopus, giving Canis Hoopus, good Timberwolves blog, some love. He says Cat. So he was referring to the end of the game last night when the Pistons started coming back a little bit, and Cat had a couple great defensive plays in the paint where ordinarily he might commit a foul or get caught in the spin cycle, and he blocked a couple shots. Cat commits fouls more often on shots in the lane like that in years past. This year, he's consistently blocking or significantly altering shots on plays like those two near the end of last night's game. Incredible player who dedicated himself to improving on defense and is having an incredible season as a result, and now he's an all-star as of yesterday. So my question to you guys is, do you feel like we're seeing sort of a new level of Cat?
I feel like we're seeing what Cat can do when he is playing like a true professional and an adult. So, because he's always been talented beyond belief. He does not always and has not always played like an adult. There have been times like the constant moaning and groaning and falling down and flopping, which he still does. Don't get me wrong, but Phil, this goes back to what you said, and as a hockey guy, I believe this is so important. I think what Patrick Beverley brings as a professional and as a guy who knows what winning looks like and how you win, and I'll go back to that word that lots of folks hate, setting a culture. Because a culture, again, it's not a wussified state. A culture can be very difficult too. A culture is, how do you break through and get and go up? So Cat, if you look at what he's done statistically, it might not always be great, but when you watch the games, you see it, right? The defensive plays, the fact that he's applying himself, the fact that Beverly, I think, brings an inherent intensity to this team that we didn't see for years. And so that's where Gerson's move was so smart, because even when Pat Bev is not playing, I feel like he has the ability from the bench to hold guys accountable. And if I was to go through the list of guys on this team who I think have benefited the most from that sort of presence, I think Cat is atop that list. I think lots of guys have learned, but I think Cat is now number one, because he is playing like a guy who truly gets it. And I don't know that there's been a consistent stretch throughout his career until now that he's done that.
Yeah, I'm just going through some cat stats here on Basketball Reference. So they have win shares. Like in baseball, they have wins above replacement. In basketball, they have win shares. And he's 10th in the NBA right now in win shares. Here's the other guys on that list.
Wow.
Nikola Jokic, Giannis, Rudy Gobert, who's one of the best defensive players in the league. Chris Paul, Jarrett Allen from Cleveland's having an awesome season. Joel Embiid, Steph Curry, Domantas Sabonis, Jimmy Butler, Karl-Anthony Towns. He's ahead of, and some of this is, I should also, some of this is like LeBron and Kevin Durant are behind him in part because they've missed more games. This is a cumulative stat. But I feel like, so that's the stat answer. I feel like his demeanor feels more centered this year than it has been in years past. And like he can still pop off and get a technical and stuff, but like it just feels like he's spending more time channeling his energy into the actual game itself than into the officials. And I'm not saying that he doesn't still argue with officials and, you know, he gets demonstrative still because he's an emotional player, but it feels more controlled this year. I think part of it's Chris Finch. I think part of it's Patrick Beverley. I think part of it's Anthony Edwards, who can get a little demonstrative sometimes too. But if that's how Cat's going to perform going forward, where he's going to be less affected by outside circumstances, bad calls, or game flow going the wrong way, and he can just be centered regardless of what's happening and control his emotions and channel that energy into the game rather than getting caught up in the spin cycle all the time, then it's huge for the Timberwolves. And I think that is a big reason why they're 2 games above 500 right now.
Yeah, I think he's getting a little bit more mature in that fact that he doesn't let his emotions completely ruin things. But I mean, this is also a guy who, I mean, he led the NBA in fouls in 2018 and 2019. And that's not all his fault. I mean, there are some weird situations where the referees seem to target him, but I think that's also because of his demeanor and how he acts. And if he can stop doing that as much, then he'd be fine. Like his personal foul rate is still about the same of his career, but can he not let that consume him? Mm-hmm. Like it, and you've seen Jim Pete talk about that. I think that's where Pat Bev plays an instrumental role that is unquantifiable, where he's calmed him down a few times. It's not letting his emotions getting the best of him in those situations.
Jim Pete clapped at Anthony Edwards last night late too. There was, you know, the Pistons were coming back and Ant got fouled, and this happens. Like he got fouled going to the hoop, no call. Ball bounces off the rim, and now it's 5-on-4 the other way because Ant is sitting back there yelling at the official, and the Pistons knock down a 3. And I just want to, like, poke my head through the TV and just yell at these guys. You're going to get bad calls against you. It's more powerful if you play through it unaffected, right? And that's what Jim Pete was saying, too. He's like, correct. Not only do you have to get back on defense, but play through the contact and just get the bucket. You know, you're like 230 pounds. So, like, that's one of the things that I think this team still has to be mindful of. But Cat has been better at it, I feel like, in the last couple months than he was even in the first couple months of the season. Speaking of Anthony Edwards, after the game last night, he's walking up to the Zoom podium for his post-game press conference, and he's, like, got his phone in his hand, and he's kind of, like, stalling and buying time while he's doing something on his phone, and he says, I love you, Minnesota, man. I hope you all love me back. And he's like on his phone. So he was ordering McDonald's chicken McNuggets on the dollar menu on his phone because he was hungry. And he said, I'm just kind of cheap. He goes, well, I'm not like, I love cars and jewelry, but like when it comes to food, I'm kind of cheap sometimes.
Yeah. And young.
Yes.
And young.
So what is your guys' favorite go-to fast food item?
Oh,
if you were in that moment and you're trying to order something on your phone, what is it?
Taco Bell or White Castle.
White Castle.
I love, and I'm well aware of what Taco Bell and White Castle can do to you. I accept these terms and I accept these risks every time I go to Taco Bell and White Castle. Last night though, like if I'm feeling a little fancier and I want a little more step up from the cheap options of Taco Bell and White Castle, and again, cheap shameless plug, can't beat a Culver's Butter Burger, dude. It is the cream of the crop of fast food burgers, and it's not close.
It is really good.
For the Midwest, at least. I do love In-N-Out, and that's not over here. But yeah, Taco Bell, White Castle are my go-to cheap fast food options.
Dude, I was gonna say Taco Bell. I forgot about White Castle. Love a crave case.
For a guy with a bad stomach, Phil, you eat or you like more bad for your stomach food than anyone I know.
That's the beauty, though. It's all about timing.
Yep.
On a Tuesday night when you got a big day of work and meetings on a Wednesday, you got to play it safe.
Right.
On a Friday night when I got 48 hours or more to recover, and I'm not doing anything on Saturday morning, a little spicy food, maybe a little something. Push
You just have to have the mental conversation of, do you accept these terms and risks? And Phil says, yes, I do.
God bless him.
Yeah. So what's your fast food?
What about you, Judd?
I really don't do a lot of fast food now.
Okay, but in moderation.
I will say,
Olivia boy.
No, I'm a very healthy guy. I've dropped a lot of weight. Actually, sounds weird, but Ant is right. McNuggets are good.
They are really good
because you can crush them and the dipping sauces. I love dipping sauces.
Yeah, they have like 6 dipping sauces.
Yeah, so like you can, if you don't like one, you're just like, hey, I'll just use this sauce and change the flavor completely. So that's not a bad call, but he's going to be able to do that for what, about 5 years?
Then he's got to be
6
careful.
years,
Yeah,
and then it's like now it's time to read that TB12 book, baby.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's got to talk to Alex Guerrero. A couple more straggler feedback comments here. D Works on YouTube says, sounds like the Vikings ended up harshing Harbaugh's mellow. 6 hours of questions is not something a guy like Harbaugh is used to. Harbaugh probably thought, when the heck is this grand inquisition going to end? Yeah.
That's probably absolutely correct.
Like, okay, we're on hour 3 of these San Francisco questions. Okay, Trent Baalke's an idiot. How many more times do you want me to say it?
Just give me the job. Give me the damn job. Where's the contract?
Yeah, he seems like such a aloof is the wrong word. He's just like head in the clouds kind of a guy, just marching to the beat. And
yes,
they're trying to get him in a conference room and grill him on what happened, year 4 in San Francisco.
Here is the 5th person you are going to meet with, Jim. Jim's like, what the hell is this all about? Who are these people?
Yeah, I think that's probably an accurate assessment there. And Tim Zigmund, I kind of like this. This is maybe a discussion for another day, but he says, I'd like to suggest a plan to discourage the worst instances of tanking in professional sports. While bad teams would still get good draft picks, the very worst teams would no longer get the very best picks. It would also prevent teams from profiting year after year of abject failure. So his plan is, step 1, the worst 4 eligible teams would be placed in an unweighted lottery. So they would just be, all would have a 25% chance.
Oh, okay.
The teams with the worst record cannot receive the number 1 or number 2 pick. If they are in this lottery of the 4 worst teams, if they are drawn 1st or 2nd, they would be placed in the 3rd and 4th spot, and so on. No team may participate in the lottery in consecutive years. So essentially, you would say if you finish in the bottom 4, you can't get the number 1 or number 2 pick in your draft. You're going to get the 3rd pick or 4th or 5th pick. But maybe you might get screwed and get the 6th pick.
Yeah.
I kind of like this.
Which can happen.
You'd be incentivizing teams to be better than terrible, right?
I am for relegation or nothing.
That's kind of what this is kind of like.
But I want you to be knocked down, which is obviously not a realistic plan. I feel like we sort of have this though, right? At least in hockey and basketball.
No.
Not baseball. And
yeah,
football.
well, the NBA, I think is it the top 3 teams have the same percentage, but they're still picking they're getting the best odds for the number 1 pick.
And I think hockey changed it, Dex, if I'm not mistaken, that you can't drop, if you were the worst team, you can't drop lower than what, 3rd or 4th or something now?
Yeah, because 2 years ago I think was it the Devils that dropped from they had the worst record in the league and they only picked 4th or something.
Okay.
Something like that happened. Yeah, hockey's the similar boat.
Well, I'm in 2 fantasy football leagues and a baseball league.
Tell us all about them.
If you finish in last place, you have to pay more money to the league prize pool. Maybe that's what it is. You finish last place and you have to give $1 million to some other team. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
you have to give your starting quarterback.
How'd your teams do, Phil?
Actually, the starting quarterback would be crappy. Most teams. I don't want to talk about it.
Did you finish in last place?
I had to pay a couple times. I had a bad year of fantasy sports. It was bad.
I got out of this league, thank God. But
I quit everything.
I heard friends do this now for the last place team, which I think is a very interesting and cruel punishment if you finish last. So the person that finishes last in the fantasy football league, he has to buy a subscription to a certain website. I won't name the website.
Okay.
And then he gives the username and password to everyone else in the league. And then they change the password, so then the person who's in last place still has to pay for it, but can't access said website.
Forever?
For that whole year. So he has to still pay for it. And then they can't access said website.
Is there like a hook on what the website is?
It's an entertainment website. I'll say what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Entertainment website. Okay. But then they have to pay for it for everyone in the league, and then he also can't access said website.
I get you. So they all get to use the website.
Yeah. And
and then he's on the hook for the payment and still can't access it.
Oh, that's harsh.
Here's a dumb question.
Way.
I wouldn't.
Do you really need to pay for websites?
I agree. It's 2022. Not doing that.
I mean, what are you getting with the paid tier that you aren't getting with the free tier?
I don't know.
I want to pay for a site that I can't get that content free elsewhere, like The Athletic.
Yeah, like The Athletic.
Has The Athletic thought about branching out a little bit?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, to Phil's point, I think I know that the road we're going down here, and like that stuff's free all throughout. So like you don't really need to have a
you can get ESPN.com for free. You don't have to.
Right. I'm saying
pay for Plus.
I would rather have
I
would prefer to have exclusive content that I can't get anywhere else.
Right.
For the latest on, let's say,
you know what's free? The SKOR North app. We got a special going on. It's free. You can just download it for free. You can hit us up with feedback for free. You can read Judd's articles for free. It's great. All right, that's Feedback Friday here. Mackie and Judd just solving the world's problems. One reckless speculation question.
Reckless speculation.
By the way, thanks for helping make Purple Daily a top 10 charting Apple football podcast this week, you guys. Not you guys, but the audience.
Yeah. No, I knew exactly what you meant. Like, bravo. You out there.
Ridiculous.
Bravo.
All right, we'll see you guys next week on Mackie and Judd.